UFC Vancouver just recently wrapped up, and I'm going to recap the entire card. In the main event, Renier de Ritter became Renier de Quitter as Brendan Allen beat him up and forced him to submit in the corner. Corner throws in the towel, but de Ritter said, I'm done. Weird card with some wild results. Essentially underdog city throughout the entire card as some unexpected results became complete commonplace for the entire thing. Also was cool as I did a little bit of calling in to the Guru Fight Companion, the big trio companion that he held on his channel. So I was glad to collab up and be a part of that. Overall, pretty great day on the positive things from, the streaming, being a fan. But as far as, the fights, what went down, it was weird as hell. So let me just get into it right away. First fight of the night, not weird. Made sense. Melissa Croden was an underdog earlier in the week. I thought she'd go out and win, and she beat Tainara Lisboa up, even gets the finish. I was impressed. I thought she'd get that finish late. She was able to mix it up fairly well on the feet, but first round Lisboa's pressure was there, and she had some striking moments, hit a couple of takedowns, didn't do much with it, but still brought that element. Then Croden was still finding shots through the guard on Lisboa, to be fair, in round number one, but Lisboa had her busted up. Round number two, some more success for Croden as they're mixing it up. It seems like maybe Lisboa has her, and then Croden seemed in the middle of the second round, somewhere around it, to hit some second wind, right? She starts finding punches. She starts putting pressure, finds a bit of ground and pound or some shots against the cage. And okay, Croden's now turning into a fight. Round three, Lisboa is pretty much out. She's getting wobbled and rocked. She's holding on for dear life, trying to panic shoot takedowns. Croden eventually is able to rip her apart with some punches, put her down against the cage. Ref jumps in, calls the fight off. There was definitely more of that will to win. Like Croden wanted it bad here. She was struggling round one, was close, but could have lost that first. I don't know, toss-up round. A lot of people felt Lisboa got the first round. I don't know. I felt like maybe I was biased to Croden, but I thought she might have had it. It was close. It was also, 8 hours ago. Round number two, Croden starts coming back, starts putting it on Lisboa. And then round number three, she really puts it on her, turns the fight around, stops the fight, and becomes a girl to watch at 135 pounds. I mean, shit. The division is in some senses wide open, right? You get 3 wins in this weight class, you could be in the top 10. You could be in the top 2, to be honest with you, if she really got like some massive wins. I don't know about her competing with the Ketlin Vieiras of the world or some of the top level women. But I definitely think Melissa Croden is a good unranked basher. I think she can get some W's of the unranked women. I look forward to watching more. I definitely want to see what she can do as she moves up. Canada's got a girl that's got some grit to her. She's a finisher, all wins by finish. In women's MMA, it's a rare thing. So definitely positives. And Lisboa, after that knee injury, might be game, set, match for a UFC career. But I wouldn't be shocked if they gave her one more. Next fight, Azamat Bekoev got absolutely exposed by Yusri Belgaroui. I'm still confused about this fight, because the Yusri Belgaroui that was on Contender Series was not this guy. Yusri Belgaroui looked mediocre as hell on Contender Series. He was like a slapping puncher, decent kickboxing from distance, but didn't offer much power. Physically seemed to be on the weaker side. He just didn't seem like a gifted MMA fighter. Seemed like a guy that would do decent in pure kickboxing. Let me tell you, that's absolutely not the damn case. Yusri Belgaroui looked amazing. Stopped the majority of Azamat Bekoev's takedown. Sure, he has a few listed there, but he did nothing with them. Boxed him up on the feet. Had Bekoev uncomfortable, caught him with knees to the body, ripped him with elbows. Like Bekoev would shoot, right? He'd get to the position against the cage, and then Belgaroui would just rip these death elbows. It started in round one. It continued throughout the fight. Bekoev's face was a bloody mess. Round number two, Bekoev had one good moment. He landed a nice right hand, but still he couldn't stop Belgaroui's fucking offensive attack. Belgaroui's precision with that jab was there, finding straight shots on the chin, fighting off the takedowns. His size was a massive factor, and he absolutely exposed Azamat Bekoev, rocks him with a big right hand, follows up with some big shots. Referee saves Bekoev. He's like pretty much out on his feet against the cage. I was blown away by Yusri Belgaroui because I was not impressed at all on Contender Series. He didn't get signed. We have Bekoev, who's like this terrifying Russian prospect, versus Belgaroui, who only got the chance because he was willing to take it on short notice, and he's Team Pereira. Let me tell you something. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over in Danbury, Connecticut. I don't know what they're feeding Yusri Belgaroui. Um, the Belgaroui that we saw in Contender and this Belgaroui is not the same guy. He leveled up substantially, and I really think I don't want to say that he's a problem for the weight class and push the narrative that he's like top 15, but I think beating an Azamat Bekoev in the way that he did is a pretty huge win. Bekoev's 20-4 now as a pro. He was 20-3 coming into the fight with a lot of hype. I think right now, I mean, shit, dude. Belgaroui's win has me just a little. I'm like almost speechless. I don't even know what the hell to say besides, wow, like he just fucked up Azamat Bekoev. Bekoev had two nice finishes in the UFC. Bekoev fucked up Zach Reese and Ryan Loder, two decent American fighters. For Yusri Belgaroui, a fight that kind of makes sense would be like a Robert Brishek fight. Brishek coming off the big knockout win, upset over Brad Tavares. Belgaroui coming off the big upset here. Both guys newer to the UFC, 1-1 for Brishek, 1-0 for Belgaroui. I don't hate the idea of matching those two up against another. Another way you could run it is Cam Rouston versus Yusri in a battle of some of the taller middleweights, but we'll say Cam Rouston's Petrosky win stands tall and probably puts him in. I don't know. He's in an interesting spot though, because he's only got one UFC fight, so you can't rush him up. To be honest, Rouston Belgaroui or Brishek Belgaroui are kind of perfect fights for him. I think Yusri Belgaroui's stand-up game is definitely legit, and his takedown defense seems live. They're doing something in Danbury, man. In Connecticut, they're figuring shit out with this grappling defense. They did it with Poetan, and they're doing it with Belgaroui. I'm shocked that a 33-year-old guy made improvements like that. His past 2 years on Contender Series, he looked average at best. He looks like a pretty decent fighter here. Nice win over a guy that I really respect in Azamat Bekoev. Wow. Stephanie Luciano wins here. This fight was kind of simple. She picked apart Ravonna Oliveira, timed some key takedowns, wore her down, eventually, found their way to the choke and strangled her at the end of the fight. After dominating a majority of the fight, Ravonna Oliveira, you see the strike stats, like 24-60. That's exactly what the fight was. Luciano was more accurate, was quicker to the target, sharper, just better. Oliveira was really like overthrowing bombs. She'll sit on punches and load up and try and rip some big power, but like, the reality of it is, though she throws really hard, she misses damn majority of the time. I mean, 24 out of 103, she's hitting at like a 20% clip of accuracy. Like, it looks impressive, but it doesn't hit you. They're not shots that are going to land. She throws them from out of range. And Luciano was sharp. And then as soon as Oliveira actually tried to commit, she was getting taken down. So I see why she was, winging shit from the outside for as long as she did. Luciano's a blue chip prospect, definitely. I look forward to the UFC continuing to matchmaker. This was, definitely a bit of a layup fight. The easiest fight of her UFC career. But hey, look forward to more. Next fight, Danny Barlow, the Djorden Santos. Danny Barlow, fraud checked again. But like, this one was worse. He got knocked out by Sam Patterson. But when you get knocked out quick, it leaves the question of what could have been. Oh, he got caught. The left hand to God, the knockout power that we saw in the regional scene, it just doesn't translate into the UFC level. Moved up to middleweight to take on the Djorden Santos, who's a decent Muay Thai striker, who's got pretty pressure-based style, definitely in shape, definitely tough, but not exceptional anywhere. Danny Barlow was decent from the outside, but Santos was finding straight shots on him. It was competitive, but Santos, still sitting in there, throwing hard. Even though Barlow won the first round, landing the better shots, like, Santos was never out of the fight. Round 2 comes around, and it actually looked like Santos was on his way down. Barlow had hurt Santos with a really big straight left. A lot of the time throughout the fight, too, he was throwing massive lead uppercuts. Obviously didn't land anything too flush with those uppercuts, but was ripping real power shots. He attacked the Djorden Santos, and he blitzed him a bit, and then he ends up getting rocked thereafter. He kind of blew his wad in round number 2. The gas tank seemed to dwindle. Round number 3, he was trying, but overall, Santos was able to land the bigger shots and force Barlow backwards, and he had him uncomfortable on the feet. Even round number 2, after Barlow had hurt Santos, like, there was a moment there where it looked like Barlow was thinking about laying down because he was getting cracked and he was really off balance, and like, it looked like he could have potentially sat. He did slug some heavy fists back, and you can say Danny Barlow didn't give up on himself, really. but overall got worked till the end. Jordan Santos ended up getting him down late in round number 3. That was a big factor of the fight, and handled business here. And then, put it on him in the very end. He was the forward pressuring fighter, the guy backing him up. He wins the second and third round, and that's how you do it. You win those second and third, and you're living lavishly. The Jordan Santos UFC debut, Ozzy Diaz loss was rough, but, going out and beating a Barlow, yeah, it wasn't, whoa, the 29-28. It was like, all right, beat Danny Barlow. He was a big underdog. 28 years old, wasn't expected to win. I don't think that Jordan Santos has like high level skills, but what I think he has is a good chin, and he likes to fight, and he'll definitely be on the roster at least for a little while. He's still young at 28. The improvements can be had. I don't think he's going to be, a future contender or anything like that. He's a decent middleweight. He's a decent unranked middleweight to slug it out with some of the more mediocre guys. Handling a southpaw with a heavy left hand in Danny Barlow, it demands some kind of respect. Let's go to the next fight. Bruno Silva absolutely expose Hyun Sung Park. Let me tell you something, man. This is the realest truth of it all. We have seen it lately, man. These South Korean fighters just getting outworked in the physicality, hurt with shots. South Korean fighters are on a bit of a negative slope right now, especially against, people from south of the damn border, all right? The Brazilians, the, South Americans, etc. Bruno Silva was no different. Was able to rock Park in round 1, pressure him, beat him up a bit, get on top. Round number 2, dropped him real bad at Park leaking blood, was able to get on top again, landing takedowns. Park had a couple of takedowns, or really, actually only landed one. I feel like he landed 2. He landed 1 trip, but he did nothing with it. He was trying to rip combinations. His biggest moments were in round 3, the round that he got finished in, because he just started lightning speed and was coming after Bruno Silva. But Bruno had an answer for everything. Bruno Silva looked absolutely insane. Bruno Silva looked like he was in his prime again. Bruno Silva looked way better than he's looked over, the past 2 years. Suspiciously better. I went out and said this on Guru's stream to the, other gang of them that were there. I said, man, I said it straight up. I think the roids are in play here. I like Bruno Silva. I'm not telling you he's definitely on him. I like Bruno Silva. He's a cool dude. I've talked with Bruno Silva. But the dude has some of the craziest back knee I've seen inside of the UFC. Now, it could be genetic. Maybe it's hereditary, right? But why now is it appearing? Right? 35. Looking like he's in his prime again. I think he found the Vitor Belfort TRT stack. The TRT and then some. I think he found it, man. Because holy shit, Bruno Silva looked good. Holy shit, Bruno Silva looked good. Bruno Silva put on an ass whooping. Okay? Bruno Silva looked awesome here. I think that Bruno Silva, he's found the source to the fountain of youth. And it really is the syringe of youth, all right? I respect Bruno's abilities inside of that cage. He fucked Hyun Sung Park up, and I'm not sitting here, I'm not trying to cope for Park. Or maybe I am trying to cope for Park. But definitely kind of wild to see a 35-year-old with that type of back knee, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's sus to me. And then having that good of a performance, looking so good, so good. Yeah, oh, well, he fought Cop and Silva, true. Or he fought Cop and Van, true. He's losing to Cody Djorden. He didn't look like that. Bruno Silva, amazing performance. I don't want to take anything away from what was. It was a fucking amazing performance. I just think that something's going on behind the scenes. No, I think it happens for more than just him. It's a lot of guys. So it's not like I'm trying to, out Bruno Silva, but it's so evident to me. Bruno Silva coming off massive W against Hyun Sung Park. I got the fight. Bruno Silva, how do you feel about him versus Charles Johnson? Do you not love that fight? Bruno Silva and Charles Johnson, they've never fought each other. Obviously, crazy reach advantage, Charles Johnson. That could be a hard fight for Bruno. And there's a chance that maybe that doesn't happen because of that factor, right? Maybe the UFC wants to go another direction. Maybe they're like, nah, we don't want to put him with Charles Johnson because, Charles Johnson could end up being a bit of a nightmare. But I like that. Number 13 in the world versus number 14. It seems like it makes sense. If not the Charles Johnson fight, we could see Bruno Silva versus Steve Erceg too. That's also a possibility. Now, for Hyun Sung Park, This loss is rough for him, man. I actually think it would make sense for him to fight somebody like Clayton Carpenter or Cody Durden. Somebody coming off some losses, either another prospect or you match him up against, a guy more towards the tail end than Cody Durden. But I definitely think the Hyun Sung Park has hit bit of a serious downslope, the hype on it. I mean, the Tainara loss was forgivable. It's Tainara. And not that Bruno Silva's a bad fighter. He's very good, but he's towards that twilight of the career. So this one looked bad. Let's keep on moving up. Next fight, Cody Gibson, Aoriqileng. What the fuck? Aoriqileng with a 21-second knockout. Huge overhand. Down goes Gibson. Ground and pound. Fight over. 21 seconds. That was it. It was like a one-punch KO. Ground and pound to follow up. And we call it wraps. Good night, Cody Gibson. Aoriqileng had not really looked good in the UFC. Whenever I won as an underdog in the UFC. But this fight here, holy shit, he blew the fucking roof off the place. A 21-second KO over a Cody Gibson who had just recently become like a full-time fighter. So this is the best version of Cody Gibson. At least, one of the best versions. Better than, skill-wise, better than his prime self. And to see Aoriqileng make it look easy like that was impressive. Now, Aoriqileng is one of those guys where he just is like a cockroach in this division. He finds a way to sneak it in. He finds a way to stick around, and that was this fight. He finds a way. He gets the knockout. Is it crazy to say that Aoriqileng versus the likes of like a Rinya Nakamura is next? Rinya Nakamura, obviously, very good prospect from Japan, high-level wrestling. I'd like to see Mongolia versus Japan. It's a good matchup. Definitely, though, scary performance for Aoriqileng. And he put people on notice that his power is legit. Put me on notice because I was doubting the power. He looks like he got power, but then the reality is he wouldn't be able to land. But with Gibson, it took one shot. Wow. Gibson, they might keep him around for one more. I'm at a loss for it. They might, but I don't know. I could see him getting cut after that one. That was a bad loss, dude. Big win for Aoriqileng. Next fight, feature prelim. Drew Dober and Kyle Prepolec. So there is a lot to be said about the matchup between Drew Dober and Kyle Prepolec. Round number 1, Drew Dober, more accurate, landing the better shots, but Prepolec still had moments. Prepolec caught Drew Dober with some decent punches. He was checking kicks well, and Drew Dober had a bit of a cut on his shin. It was a competitive first round, one where Dober pulled off the victory in the round, but Prepolec was still in the fight. Even though it looks like he's in slow motion, he still finds weird ways to land. Even caught Dober with a high kick in round number 1. Prepolec was actually surprisingly dexterous with his kicks. They came up fast. Round number 2, Prepolec starting to come on. Prepolec starting to land. Round number 2, Prepolec had some moments. It was like, okay. All right, Prepolec. Prepolec's finding Drew Dober with hands. Prepolec finishes the round with the knockdown. It's like, oh my God, Drew Dober's about to get knocked out at the end of round 2. And then we shifted to round 3. Round number 3, Drew Dober's in a testy spot. It's 1-1, and Prepolec has all the momentum. Dober's coming after him a bit. There was a groin strike. There was also one groin strike previous to this, earlier. But this was a very hard groin strike that caused for a long break, right? Prepolec took about the full 5 minutes to recover. Referee deducts a point from Drew Dober. So now Drew Dober's in a spot where, at best, he's getting a draw, right? Unless he gets a 10-8, but for God's sake, they don't give out 10-8s very easily. Kyle Prepolec has the 5 minutes to recover. So does Drew Dober, though. And Dober was fatiguing a bit. But now we have a new fight because Dober has now had 5 minutes to rest and recover. Prepolec recovering from the groin strike. But, think about it, right? Dober had a minute to recover from getting badly rocked. And then a minute into the round, right? It goes from him having, been rocked 2 minutes ago to him then having been rocked 7 minutes ago. 7 minutes is a lot of time to recover from a big punch. And holy shit, Drew Dober recovered and then some. He put it on Prepolec from the jump. attacked right away, backed him up, ripped him with big shots. Mouthpiece goes out. Dober's just all over him, ripping with power shots against the cage. Prepolec is busted wide open. Referee jumps in and saves him. Drew Dober with the knockout on the comeback. But it was controversial because of the groin strike that led them there. It's one of those situations, right? Good groin strike can change the complexity of the fight. Obviously, I don't think Dober did it on purpose, but damn, it worked out good for him. We saw it with Kobe Thickness a few weeks ago. Perth. He landed a groin strike, Musasa, that changed that fight and then ends up winning the fight after the momentum was swinging towards Musasa in round 2 and then even into early round 3. Drew Dober, same type of situation. You feel for Prepolec here, who's having a good performance and really, putting one of the better efforts of his life out there at a high level. Drew Dober still finds a way to get a knockout. He said, I'm never retiring. He said, I'm not retiring anytime soon. I want to give you guys more violent fights. I'm getting better and better. Kyle Prepolec was compensated an extra $50K for the shot to the family jewels. That's good. That's good news. I'm glad they gave him an extra $50,000. That's nice that he got blessed with the $50K. So they called it fight of the night. At least that's a good positive, right? I'm thinking about the rankings, and I'm thinking about Drew Dober, thinking about what do you do with the Drew Dober? Because he lost 3 straight fights before. He's not a top-level guy. It's fun fights from here on out. I may be a bit of a violence fanatic, but I don't care who wins between Mateusz Rebecki and Ludovic Klein. How perfect would it be to do Mateusz Rebecki versus Drew Dober in a battle of violence? I think that's the fight to be made, no matter what happens between him and Ludovic Klein. Rebecki and Dober, we should take advantage of a fight like that while we have the chance to book a fight like that. I do think Rebecki has a bit of an edge, but he's taken life-changing damage over his recent fights, and Dober just can't stop getting hit in the damn face. Big win for Dober. Controversial, yes, but ultimately still a knockout victory at the end of the day. For Prepolec, they'll give him another one. He's 0-4 in the UFC, but you got to give him one more. He put it on the line for the fans. Next fight, main card opener. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you hit the likes. If you're new, subscribe. Matt Frevola got handled against Kyle Nelson. He got TKO'd in the first round. It was a 10-8 first round on my card. Matt Frevola ends up badly rocked by Kyle Nelson towards the end of the first round, clubbed with an overhand shot. Because Frevola has no defense. He's all offensive aggressiveness and just wild gunslinging. Works once in a while, but a lot of times it gets you fucked up. Kyle Nelson's ripping him with ground and pound from guard. And Frevola's out. Frevola is done. Orgliana steps in. Fight's over. No, wait. I didn't stop the fight. 3 seconds left in the round. You called the damn fight. Frevola got TKO'd in the first round. He even thought it was over. He went over and congratulated Kyle Nelson. And then Big Dan's like, no, it's still going. Kyle Nelson TKO'd him in the first round. Frevola was out. Fight continues. Matt Frevola competitive in the second. 50-50 round. Some moments. Really fought hard that round. Obviously, it's an adrenaline dump factor for both men. But Frevola, getting the chance to come back, he was like, oh, shit, let's go. Round number 3, Nelson was sharp. And Frevola hurt a bit. Took him down a bit. Able to bust him up a bit. Cleaner strikes. Backing him up more often than not. Countering with good shots. And Kyle Nelson just looked like the better fighter. Finishes the fight. 2 judges, 29-28, 130-27. Clean decision for Kyle Nelson. Up at 155 pounds. You say he's sticking around at 55. He's no longer going back down to the featherweight division. Frevola, he's now in fucking Shitsville, USA. Losing 3 straight fights. And this one should have been a first-round knockout because he was completely out. Kyle Nelson's in a good spot, though. I mean, yeah, he's got that real bad loss, right? Down in weight against Steve Garcia. Steve's a top 10 guy, top 15 guy. I don't know what the likelihood of success is for this fight actually being booked. But I kind of like the idea of a crossroads fight, like Kyle Nelson versus an Esteban Ribovics. I think that's a good test for Esteban Ribovics, too. Kyle Nelson's a crafty veteran, right? He's always been towards the, featherweight top 15. Not as good at lightweight, but beating Matt Frevola here puts him in a position where it's like, you have to give him somebody legit. And I think that's kind of the perfect legit guy to give him. I like Kyle Nelson versus Esteban Ribovics. I don't know if the UFC is going to book that fight. I could see the UFC going in a completely other direction that like I didn't even see coming. But I don't know. That just stands out to me at the moment. And it's a matchup that I'd definitely be intrigued by. For Matt Frevola, he's in a rough spot. 3 bad losses in a row. For God's sake, he might get the Kyle Prepolec fight. But it could be, somebody like Helvez Brenner, who's on a 3-fight losing streak. It could give him the Black Country Banger, Jai Herbert, but that could even be a hard fight. Kurt Holloway, maybe. Fevola's definitely in that twilight zone of his fighting career, and it's showing. I think there's a obvious sign of slowdown, and I don't think he's in his prime anymore. But good win for Nelson. Still seems to got some fight left. Next one, Charles Jourdain put on the performance of a lifetime. Who does that to Davey Grant? Charles Jourdain looks spectacular. Rock Davey Grant with punches, hit him with the flying knee, drops him with the flying knee, finishes him with the gilly. This was the most impressive win over Davey Grant that I can remember. Looking back, Davey Grant had not been finished since 2018 against, at the time, 12-0 Manny Bermudez, who turned out to be like a pretty serious bust in his fighting career. But that was the last time. He got caught in a triangle choke real early in the fight. Before that, 2016. Okay, Damon Stasiak got him. The fact that he went out and got subbed in the first round after getting dropped, Charles Jourdain just fucking destroyed a Davey Grant who beat Damon Blackshear, beat Ramon Tavares, gave Daniel Marcos all he could handle in his last 3. Before that, Charles Jourdain is legit at 135 pounds. Be aware. Charles Jourdain is very good at 135. This is his right weight class. He was never a 45er. He was always undersized. And oh my God, doing that to Davey Grant speaks volumes to how good Charles Jourdain is at this weight class. I really think 135 pounds, we could see Davey Grant do some work, okay? Now, looking at the 135-pound division, do they move him up to, somebody that's close to the rankings next? Do they give him a ranked fight? Do they give him somebody like a Kyler Phillips potentially next, a good striker, guy that I could see Charles Jourdain getting past? Or do they still make him fight some of the guys in the unranks? Do they give him a Bryce Mitchell, who's a former, top 10 contender, top 15 contender at 145 pounds? Do they give him a Hayani Barcelos, Ricky Simone winner? That could actually be a sick fight. But I feel like beating Davey Grant, you should just reward him with something bigger. Who did he call out? Marcus McGee. He called out the number 15 ranked guy, Marcus McGee. Let me tell you something. That Marcus McGee fight is tough. Marcus McGee is no easy fight for Charles Jourdain. I think Jourdain is really good. But then you also have to consider how fucking good the top 15 is. Oh my God. Bantamweight top 15 is crazy. But I could see Charles Jourdain breaking into the top 15. I definitely think that if there's a chance Jourdain becomes a contender, it's definitely always been at this weight class. Never featherweight. I'm cool with the Marcus McGee fight, but I kind of like him fighting a Kyler Phillips. Low key, though. David Martinez got the biggest win of his life on short notice against Rob Font. Charles Jourdain breaking into the top 11, fighting against a David Martinez could be like a quick path to being amongst the elites in the world and getting a chance in some type of massive fight thereafter. We'll see what ends up coming to fruition, but Charles Jourdain is in a great career position. Now, for the side of Davey Grant, God damn it, Davey, man. It's a disappointing place, but there's still tons of fights left for him. I mean, there's always a fight for Davey Grant. You could do Davey Grant versus, somehow Rob Font is still ranked. He shouldn't be ranked, but you could do Davey Grant versus Rob Font. I don't think anybody would complain. You could do Davey Grant versus the likes of Chris Gutierrez. That'd be an intriguing fight too. Could even give him another prospect fight. Barry Basharat. That could be another Basharat test. He just beat Gutierrez. Now he's got to beat Grant. We'll see where the UFC goes with old man Davey. You know what, though? Fan choice. Biased fan side of me. Let's do Davey Grant versus Cody Garbrandt. Let's just fucking set that fight up for the fun of it. Davey Grant takes on the former bantamweight champion. Yes, please. Fiorot makes it look so easy against Jasudavicius. Straight right, fight is done. Minute 14 seconds. Ground and pound and it's over. Jasudavicius got done dirty in this fight. And Manon Fiorot looked like she could be the world champion. Holy shit. Unmatched accuracy and precision in women's divisions with that straight shot. Like, it was about as good as you can get with a straight punch. And now Manon Fiorot becomes a serious player amongst the elite again. And it's not because she beat Jazzy Jazz. A boring decision doesn't do a lot for her. A first-round knockout off of a Jasudavicius who was on a 5-fight winning streak coming into this fight. I think Manon Fiorot could end up facing off against Natalia Silva in a top contender fight. Obviously, Valentina Shevchenko is fighting Weili Zhang. Could see Natalia Silva next in line. But I kind of love the idea of Fiorot Silva, and then the winner of that could potentially face it. Obviously, Silva, nasty prospect, young, undefeated. All right, like everything on the upside. Undefeated in the UFC, of course. Manon Fiorot, the one loss is, the close fight with Valentina Shevchenko. It's not crazy to think Manon Fiorot fights Shevchenko again. If Shevchenko does best Weili. But even if Weili were to pull off the win, I don't think anybody would complain about Manon Fiorot versus Weili, especially a Manon Fiorot that goes out and beats a top contender like the Natalia Silva type fight. I definitely think Manon Fiorot's striking looked as good as ever. Accuracy was crazy. The fact that she dropped Jazzy Jazz like that, she made her read so much. Like, oh, Jazzy dips to the side. Bam. Over. Jasudavicius back in no woman's land. Give her the Macy Barber Corinne Silva loser. She is not destined for the true elite. She's top 10. She's not destined for top 3. I think Manon Fiorot versus the likes of Natalia Silva next is kind of the perfect top contender fight. And the fact that she got a quick KO here, I don't think it's crazy if the UFC is like, hey, we want to set up a top contender fight. You guys interested in maybe facing it, January? And then the winner of Manon Fiorot and Natalia Silva could face off against Valentina Shevchenko or Weili Zhang towards June. Maybe the White House card, maybe, a pay-per-view before then, or I guess not a pay-per-view, a numbered event before that. I'm going to have to get used to that, saying numbered event as opposed to pay-per-view. We'll see what ends up coming to fruition, but I definitely have a ton of anticipation for a matchup between Manon Fiorot and Natalia Silva. Like, that's a cool fight. I want to see Natalia fight a girl with like real high-level kickboxing chops. And I think Manon Fiorot would be the perfect fight to do that with. So my matchmaker would do it. Obviously, because of timelines, we shall see. Aaron Blanchfield is booked. It's like, what are we going to do? Alexa Grasso versus Manon Fiorot? I think that we know the result of that fight. We'll see. Up to the UFC, not me, but I like Natalia Silva matchup between the two. And then Jazzy Jazz, Corinne Silva, Macy Barber loser. It was a quick fight. Nice knockout. Manon Fiorot, impressive. Next fight on the card. Marlon Vera, Aiemann Zahabi. Was it controversial? Was it a robbery? No, it was not. Aiemann Zahabi won the first round. Landed bigger shots on the feet, and he backed Marlon Vera up. Won the battle of real estate. Landed bigger punches. Forced him backwards more often than not. That's a big element. Round number 2, Marlon Vera was spectacular. Dropped Aiemann Zahabi with a jab. Had him busted up and badly hurt. Didn't capitalize and get the finish. Didn't force a 10-8, really. Zahabi was still coming on strong towards the end of that second round. It was a clear-cut 10-9 round for Marlon Vera with a massive moment knocking Aiemann Zahabi down. Fights just scored round by round. Round number 3 was close, but Zahabi was backing Vera up. I think he still landed the bigger and better shots. Caught Vera with a nice left hook against the cage. Ripped him with some clubbing shots. Was pressing forward throughout. Yeah, sure, took some good leg kicks and took some shots up high. But I thought Zahabi had landed a few more effective strikes than Vera in that third round. And clearly, to me, was, half a step ahead in round number 3 of Marlon Vera. But Zahabi had that third. First and third seemed obvious to me. Obviously, Vera's pissed because he's like, I dropped this guy in round 2, but we're not scoring the biggest moment of the fight. Yes, Vera had the biggest moment, but the fight is scored round by round. And due to the, scoring criteria that we have, Aiemann Zahabi first, Aiemann Zahabi third. In a 5-round fight, Marlon Vera is more than live. But in a 3-rounder, I said it all week, Zahabi's going to get it. And I had mentioned, I think it's going to be split. Like, it won't be surprising if we get Zahabi split decision here. Don't be surprised. And it goes over 2.5. Expected. Every result was essentially perfectly predicted in this fight here. A lot of fights were not perfect calls. This was a perfect call. And Aiemann Zahabi doing a little bit more, starting a little faster, ends up with the biggest win of his life, sending Cheeto Vera packing. Now he's still going to be in the top 15. But Aiemann Zahabi's in a good spot. After the fight, what does Aiemann Zahabi do? He fumbles the bag with the call out. He calls out Sean O'Malley. Aiemann Zahabi. Aiemann Zahabi. You're not going to get a Sean O'Malley fight. But you know who you could potentially fight? Song Yadong, Davison Figueiredo, Corey Sandhagen. These are 3 genius callouts. And as much as you want to reach for the stars and call out Sean O'Malley, I would be shocked if the UFC put O'Malley Zahabi together. Now, if the UFC does put O'Malley Zahabi together, that's me thinking, oh, the UFC wants to give O'Malley that chance for a real bounce back. Because O'Malley's the better striker. O'Malley's a lot faster. And I think O'Malley could knock Zahabi out. I think O'Malley's a bad matchup for Aiemann Zahabi. I actually like that fight for O'Malley. It's a big chance for Zahabi. And now the more I talk about it, damn, is it not that crazy? The thing is, O'Malley popped into Guru's show while I was on there live, and he said he wants to come back January. Is Zahabi going to be ready to go January? Because I was thinking O'Malley Figgy or O'Malley Yadong. Big fights. Zahabi got the big win over Vera, but I don't know if he demands that big fight, you know? Would be less surprised if he was in a fight night main event against Corey Sandhagen or something like that. The opposite side for Cheeto Vera, rough spot to be in, but it's like not all hope lost. He's going to probably drop to like number 9 in the world. Could be a fight between him and the likes of like David Martinez. Even him versus Kyler Phillips is a sensible matchup to be had. I think that makes true sense for Marlon Vera. I think those are good options. Or, you know what? This is a reach, but Vera versus Charles Jourdain could be pretty cool. I think that'd be a matchup to watch too, especially a 3-rounder. Interesting. Man, a lot faster start. It's like the contrary to Vera. And I don't think Vera's getting a 5-round fight anytime soon. I don't see him getting a UFC main event after losing to Aiemann Zahabi here. So Vera better get ready to, you know, do 3 rounds. He's got to start faster. And he's trying, but it just doesn't seem to be coming together. He's still relatively young. I mean, it's not like Vera old. He's 32, almost 33. He's still in his prime. Aiemann Zahabi's late prime, 37 years old. Fight IQ is there. Skill set is there. Body's still working. And he's got the late prime hitting. Rare for the bantamweight division, but shit, there's some anomalies in this modern era. Biggest win of his life for Aiemann Zahabi. I guess the Aldo one was the biggest ever, but like rankings-wise, this was really important. And he pulls it off. Aiemann Zahabi in Canada gets another judge's decision. Goes his way, but I did agree. Next fight, Kevin Holland, Mike Malott. Controversy galore in this one. This one sucked, honestly. Kevin Holland got kicked bad in the balls, round number 1. And he had, you know, been kicked in the balls a little early. He got kneed in the balls. He got kicked in the balls earlier, kneed in the balls. Took the full 5 minutes, and he was done. He was done. He didn't want to keep fighting. You know, obviously, a lot of people in chat were saying he's milking it and things. I think Kevin was genuinely affected by that groin strike. You look at his body language. Stop the fight. No contest. Dan Mergelan's like, all right, are you ready? You ready? That's not really protecting the fighter. I think, okay, Kevin Holland doesn't want to fight. Call it. Of course, the UFC's like, we want to see a fight, so fucking get him to fight. Especially in Canada with Mike Malott, the co-main event. They don't want to have a no contest in the co-main event. The UFC hates no contest. It's bad for business. That should have been a no contest because Holland didn't want to continue. The fighter's not going to say no. It's the referee's job to protect the fighter. The fighter's job to protect themselves. Holland continues. They go to start round number 2. And like, there's a, you know, minute and a half delay. Doctor coming in, the commission coming in, talk. Are you going to fight? All right, well, he's just going to fight. Fights, but he's like grabbing his groin the whole time. And like, he's losing. He won the first round. Kevin Holland dropped Mike Malott in the first round. Kevin Holland won that first round for sure. And then he got kicked in the balls. And it changed the whole complexity of the fight. Round number 2, got clobbered with some big punches, got hurt up against the cage. Round number 3, ends up on his back a bit, ends up getting controlled a bit, ends up getting boxed up a bit, ends up getting pushed back. Mike Malott outworks him to a unanimous decision. Clear winner, Mike Malott, 29-28. Albeit not without controversy. He took a point from Drew Dober after landing a devastating ball kick. Keep that same energy. 2 illegal strikes, point deduction. Okay, Why not do the same thing? It like, okay, the Canadian fighter gets kicked in the nuts, we'll take a point. An American gets kicked by a Canadian, fuck that point deduction. We ain't taking nothing. Obviously, I'm not saying Big Dan is like inherently biased, but can we have a standard? Devastating groin strike. The other ref took the point, so we may as well took it here. Now, we'd be looking at a draw. That's not good for anybody, but my God. Kevin Holland takes another L in a fight that he was looking good in early, too. Rough position to be in if you're Kevin Holland, man. Not going to get a rematch. Wanted to get one more in before the year's end. I mean, he still might because it's Kevin Holland, but 2 straight losses for him. He's in a rough spot, man. Kevin Holland, this one was tough, bro. He fought a guy that really wanted it. Mike Malott wanted it bad. Mike Malott, he pissed me off during the fight. He's like, it wasn't a nut shot. No, it was a nut shot. Where does Kevin Holland go from here, man? Just lost to D-Rod. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Saigid Azakmeyev is fighting against Nicholas Dalby, former one championship prospect that hasn't fought in 3 years. Taking on Nicholas Dalby in his UFC debut, because I was going to say the winner of, Nicholas Dalby, if he won, could be the fight. I don't know. Kevin Holland versus Chris Curtis? But you got to give him somebody off a loss. Kevin Holland versus the Leech? Kevin Holland versus Hyun Ko and Fiorot loser? Kevin Holland versus Chaos Williams, I really don't know what they're going to do. Honestly, Kevin Holland, Jake Matthews kind of makes sense, especially Matthews coming off that rough loss where he sold bad against Neil Magny. That might be the sensible next fight to make. For Mike Malott, does he get himself into the top 15 now at welterweight? He probably does. Holland was 15. If D-Rod is not going to prison, I don't know. I'm hearing rumors that he's going to be in some serious legal trouble here soon. I don't know if that's 100% true, but seems true. If that's not true, then, D-Rod versus Mike Malott, the most, previous opponent of Kevin Holland that beat him. I kind of like the idea of those two facing off. And, Mike Malott and D-Rod both victims of Neil Magny in the past. So I'd say have them fight each other. It was a good win for Mike Malott on paper, but the actual reality of the fight, controversial as fuck, man. And Holland was looking good early, man. Is what it is. Holland takes an L. Unfair. Unjust. The point deduction. It should have been a draw. There should have been a point deduction. It should have been a draw or no contest. But who wants that? The UFC doesn't. They don't want to do that in Canada to their local guy. They like Mike Malott in Canada. They're building him up. I like D-Rod versus Mike Malott a lot. So hopefully if he's not going to prison, let's book that fight next. Main event of the evening. If you guys are watching and enjoying, hit the likes. If you're new, subscribe. I take my hat off, metaphorically, to Brendan Allen. Round number 1, Reinier de Ridder looked world-class. He looked like the Reinier de Ridder that we all feared. The Reinier de Ridder that's a problem, and a Reinier de Ridder whose jiu-jitsu is elite level, and maybe he's the guy to give Hamzat trouble on the ground. Dominated Brendan Allen. Round number 1 was just one-way traffic. Almost got a finish in round 1. Threatening with submissions the entire time. Almost got an arm triangle early. Looked spectacular in the first round. Round number 2, starting off fairly well. Some competitive striking. But, de Ridder's doing pretty good. De Ridder ends up on top, falls off the back, ends up on the bottom. Allen ends up dominating the round, ripping some good ground and pound. De Ridder never works back up to his feet. But at the end of round number 2, throws up an inverted triangle attempt. So it's like, okay, we're in an interesting spot. Reinier de Ridder, he's down by a little bit. Okay. We go into round number 3, more of the same. De Ridder on his back a bit, Allen on top. De Ridder trying to use the grappling, having competitive moments, but falling off, ending up on his back. Allen on top, working some ground and pound, busting De Ridder up a bit. And De Ridder is like slow to get up to his feet after round 3. It started round 2, it was kind of slow. Round 3 was really slow. It was a clear win of the round for Brendan Allen. It's like, okay, now he's up 2 rounds to 1. Like, De Ridder, what are you doing? Round number 4, Allen takes him down from the start and beats him up. One-sided ass whoop, and Allen's all over De Ridder, just mauling him in round number 4. De Ridder, again, beaten up, pulverized, cut open, and really was beaten down. Allen's got some good ground and pound. Slow to get up to his feet. Wallops over to the corner. He's like, I'm done. Quits in the fucking corner. Brendan Allen made Renier de Ridder quit. Holy shit. Renier de Ridder quit in one championship against Malott. He didn't continue. I guess I really thought that was like a one-off thing because Mallott's a fucking, big roid monster heavyweight. But now it happens at middleweight in the UFC. Brendan Allen breaks Renier de Ridder, stops him after round number 4. Corner. It wasn't a corner stoppage. It was a submission, TKO retirement. De Ridder was done. He said he was finished with. Got absolutely dominated on the ground. Absolutely outworked. You have a win over an all-time great in Robert Whittaker in a war. And then broken by short notice replacement Brendan Allen. What would Fluffy have done to De Ridder? My God, he would have strangled him. This is the biggest win of Brendan Allen's life. This is a win that skyrockets Brendan Allen's stock. Taking this short notice fight turns out to be the best gamble in his fighting career because now he has broken into the top. Renier de Ridder was ranked number 4 in the world. Allen at number 9. I'm sure we're going to see the side of Brendan Allen in the top 6. Maybe even in the top 5. De Ridder booted down because, see, Hernandez at 5, Adesanya at 6, Allen could be 5, then, Hernandez at 4. My God. Brendan Allen just changed his life, man. Brendan Allen just absolutely put himself in position to fight somebody like Dricus du Plessis next year. In a real top contender fight. If he beats Dricus du Plessis, he's going to be in a spot where he's hard to deny. Obviously, Fluffy Hernandez might fight du Plessis. He might fight Strickland. Either one of those matchups. If Fluffy is to win, he'd probably be ahead of Brendan Allen, right? Especially with the 2 wins over him and, a recent win over him. But who's to say? Styles make the fights. Brendan Allen is on the title trek now, and he's probably going to take on somebody like a du Plessis. If not a du Plessis, it could be a Strickland rematch. Either of those are fine. Allen's absolutely on fire. Holy shit, he looks so good. He's 29 years old, looked better than he's ever looked. Training with Belal now. You can see the improvements. Gas tank off the chain on short notice. Confidence through the roof. Lost the first round bad, but did not wilt his confidence in self at all. Now I'm thinking about Renier de Ridder. How does he do it? A Renier de Ridder story. He's in a weird position. Like, we could see him get blessed with a good fight against a big name like Caio Bahayo. But you could also argue that like a Roman Dolidze fight would be more sensible. Dolidze just broken real bad against Fluffy Hernandez. I wouldn't be opposed to that fight. I think either of those 2 options are really live. Oh, man. The hype on De Ridder. It literally goes from here to here in 20 minutes time. MMA, UFC, the craziest fucking sport in the world. It really seemed like De Ridder was going to have a massive advantage on the ground and physically would just dominate Brendan Allen. Especially he had the full camp, Allen coming in on short notice, and we've seen Allen lose to Hernandez. My God, levels shown. Allen's gotten better, for sure. These 2 trained at Kill Cliff at the same time, but never together. Allen switched gyms, working with Bilal's team. And I think that was the best career decision ever because Brendan Allen looks as good as he ever has. I was sitting there shell shocked seeing De Ridder just get beaten up and not even try to get up to his feet, just trying to play jiu-jitsu from bottom. Like, get up. Yeah, Renier de Ridder got broken. Kind of reminded me of Herbert Burns. Like, yeah, he's a high-level fighter, but that was a Herbert Burns style of melting in the fight. Jiu-jitsu guys at this level, they tend to melt, man. Damn. Blown away by Brendan Allen. Absolutely silences Renier de Ridder and all of us talking shit. Because we all really, a vast majority of the people were like, De Ridder should buzzsaw through Allen. Knees to the body, relentless pressure, his wrestling game. Like, what's Allen going to do? Going to out-wrestle De Ridder? Yeah. And he's going to beat him up from top position. And he's not only going to beat him. He's not just going to beat him. He's going to make him quit. He's going to out-dog Renier de Ridder, who looked like an absolute dog in the Robert Whittaker fight. Blown away. That's how I feel about this fight. Blown away and overly impressed with Allen. Throughout 20 minutes, De Ridder landed fucking 9 significant strikes, man. Holy shit. Now, granted, not like Allen landed a ton at 22. De Ridder quit due to exhaustion. It's not even like he was so fucked up. I mean, he was busted up a bit, but it's not like he was out on his feet, getting pounded on the ground. Like, he was just getting outworked positionally. Then he ends up giving up. A Reinier de Ridder story, the tragic end here. From the dark horse of the weight class and seeming like the guy to give Khamzat Chimaev all he could handle to now irrelevant in a matter of one fight. Crazy. Brendan Allen's legit. He talked about Khamzat. I don't know about how Brendan Allen fares against Khamzat Chimaev, but if he goes out and beats a Dricus du Plessis or a Sean Strickland, he could definitely find himself fighting for a world title. What's crazy is Brendan Allen's got a 26-7 record. My God, he's experienced. 29 years old, too. Still young with over 30 pro fights. Expect Brendan Allen to be in a big main event. Fight night main event. Either Strickland 2 or du Plessis. Both of those fights, spectacular and good matchups to be had. With de Ridder, I almost think just give him Dolidze. Like send him, someone a little less. Drop down the caliber a bit instead. I don't know. I mean, even a Paulo Costa would potentially make sense. Kyle Bahayo, I can see him getting outworked against Bahayo. See him outworked here. I don't know. I don't think he's got a big grappling edge. Bahayo's tactical. That's a hard matchup for him. I mean, Bahayo could be it if they want to keep him amongst the elites of the elites. But we'll see what the UFC decides with de Ridder. For Allen, it's, I think, between two matchups, du Plessis or Strickland rematch. Either of those I'm very satisfied with. I'd kind of love to see Hernandez versus du Plessis in a battle of the dogs like that, and then Strickland versus Allen too. And, it'd be cool if Allen could pull that one off in a comeback. I don't know, though. I think Strickland could be his kryptonite. We saw Chris Curtis in the rematch still give Allen all he could handle. I feel like Strickland's still a hard fight because Strickland ain't going to quit. Strickland ain't going to give up like de Ridder did. Wild night. Vancouver and Canada always bring in crazy-ass cards. I want to talk about the results. So, picks-wise, record was shiesty. Loss here, we had de Ridder. Loss here, we had Holland, but I got robbed of a chance. One with Zahabi over Vera. Delusional dreams of Jazz L. Win and perfect prediction of Charles Jourdain. Loss here. It was a 50-50 coin flip fight. The over's still here, which is good. One here with Dober over Prepolec. Obviously lost with Gibson to Aoriqileng. Had Parks, Silva handled. Of course, Santos fucks up Barlow. Should have fucking done it because I had Sam Patterson against him last time. Luciano Oliveira money prediction. Belgaroui, shocking Bekoev. I'm still shocked by that. And Croden over Lisboa, perfect call. And I had her when she was a dog too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 and 8. My God, the ugliest record in a while. That's shit. That's a shit record. I'm going to dust myself off, pick myself up from my bootstraps, and get back to war. Through the shit, at least I called the perfect Jourdain sub call and the Zahabi split decision, but still irritating results otherwise. Weird card, crazy amount of dogs. How many underdogs hit on this card? 1 underdog. On the main card, just 1. Just Brendan Allen, 1 dog. No, 2. Kyle Nelson. But they were even money essentially. So, kind of 1. And then what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you include Croden. My God. Wild night. Wild night in Vancouver. Per usual in Canada, shit goes sideways. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap show. I hope you guys enjoyed the fights, and I hope you guys enjoyed the fight companion from me. And if you got to tune in to a little bit of my collab on the Guru Trio stream, that was pretty fun as well. So shout out to Guru for having me on and the rest of the gang over there. Very nice to chop it up with some of the community. I hadn't done a collab in years, so it was cool to do that, man. Had a lot of fun with it. Overall, the night where I come back with a vengeance for UFC 321. So stay tuned for the picks for 321 later today. All right? Smash the like button. Smash the subscribe button. Do not lose faith in the boy because I always come back better. Listen, I'm ready for war. Understand? I'm coming back. I see it already. I learned from the mistakes. I feel like Charles Oliveira took a tough L, ready to bounce back and get that fucking second round sub over Gamrot. That's what 321 is to me. All right, this was Topuria. Now I got Gamrot at 321. I'm going to show you guys I still got it. All right, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Let me know in the comments what you thought of everything throughout the entire night. W in the comments if you got nothing to say. Thank you guys for the continued love and support. And I will see you all the next one. Good night. Much love. Peace out.